Hello everyone, this is Madhavi Kahramudi, Assistant Professor in CSC Department. In this lecture, I'll talk about XML DTD. So first of all, first we'll revise the previous concepts once. In the last session, I already explained what is a well-formed XML document and what is valid XML document. So well-formed XML document means if you can, while writing the XML programs, if you can follow the rules given by the W3C people, then your document is called as well-formed XML document. Then second category of the XML document is valid XML document. When your XML document is said to be valid XML document is, first of all, it should be well-formed. In addition to that, it must conform to the rules of DTD or XML schema. Then only your document is said to be valid XML document. So now see how to check or how to write the valid XML documents. So here there are two ways to check the document as valid XML document or not. One is by using DTD and another one is by using XML schema. So this DTD and XML schema are two different techniques for defining the rules of the legal basic building blocks of the elements. Okay. So by using these two techniques, we'll specify whether the document is a valid document or not. Let us see how to write the XML DTD. So first of all, DTD stands for document type definition. So as the name implies, in this DTD, we will define the entire XML document. That means all the elements of the XML document we will define. So the main purpose of this DTD is to specify the structure of the XML document, how many XML elements are there, and what are the child elements of each and every element, and what are the attributes of each and every element, and how to specify those elements. So to give this kind of structure to the XML document, or to define this kind of structure of the XML document, we use DTDs. Now see, this DTD specification can be either we can specify this DTD inside the XML document, or we can also specify this DTD specification outside the XML document. So based upon the place where you have written this DTD, the DTDs are categorized into two types. One is internal DTD, other one is external DTD. So internal DTD means if you can write complete document type definition in the same XML document itself, then the document is called as internal DTD. Sometimes single DTD may be used for multiple XML documents. So in that case, instead of writing the DTD in the XML document itself, we can separate the DTD and we can write it separately from the XML document. So in that case, if you can write the XML DTD separately from the XML document, that category is called as external DTD. So in that case, that DTD definition we need to save it with under save with .dtd extension, and see how to define the elements and how to define the attributes using DTDs. So first of all, element should be declared. Each and every element should be declared in the DTD like this by using element tag. So always here element tag starts with the exclamatory sign and the name of the element should be in capital letters. And this element tag specifies the name of the element and content of the element. So what content you are writing inside this element. So here element content means whether it is parsed character data or it is character data. Suppose if it is a character data, that data will not be parsed. The data will be parsed by the XML parser. Suppose if you specify the element content as a PC data, then that should be parsed by the parser. Now see, not only the elements, we can also define the empty elements by using DTD declaration. So how to specify the empty elements using DTD is, here it will also start with the element tag, element, name of the element. So empty elements means it does not have any content. So that is the reason why here we need to specify it as empty. So if you can specify any element as empty, that indicates that it is a empty element. Now, suppose if one of the element is having multiple child elements. Suppose in the previous example, we have seen one XML document for book example. So if you want to specify the root tag, or if you want to specify any tag contains child elements. So that kind of elements, we are calling it as complex elements. So to declare the complex elements, we use this kind of structure. It will also specified by using element tag, name of the element, and number of the elements, and the order of the elements, child 1, child 2, child 3. So if you write the child elements, how you will write the child elements, in which order you are writing the child elements, in the same order you have to specify those elements in the XML document. You should not change that order in the XML document. Now, next one is sometimes in some applications and in some XML documents, single XML or single XML element contains element will be repeated multiple times. So in that case, how to specify, instead of declaring that element multiple times in DTD, we can specify how many number of times that particular element is occurring in the XML document by using qualifiers. So how to specify that the qualifiers is, suppose on any element, if you write question mark, suppose here on this element name, if you specify the qualifier as question mark, that indicates that that particular element can appear 0 or 1 time in the XML document. Suppose if that element uses asterisk as a qualifier, then that indicates that that particular element may appear 0 or more times in the XML document. So on the XML element, suppose if you use plus symbol, that indicates that that element can appear 1 or more times. Okay, maximum you can use any number of times, minimum you should use 1 time. So how many number of times that particular element will repeats in the XML document will be specified by using these qualifiers. Okay, now see how to write the DTD for the attributes. So in DTD, we have a separate tag for specifying the attributes that can be defined by using @list tag. So it will start with the exclamatory sign and @list. @list means attributes list. Compulsory it should be in capital letters. And name of the element. Name of the element means in which element this attribute belongs, and attribute name, name of the attribute type, type of the attribute, and attribute value. Here attribute value specifies the default value, whether your attribute is having any default value or whether your attribute value is compulsory to specify or it is optional. So that kind of information we need to write it as a attribute value. So how to write that attribute value is, here suppose at the time of defining the, just take one example. Suppose if you are writing the language, in the previous examples we have seen one of the title tag. In that title tag we are writing language as a attribute. Just see how to write that, specify that one is @list. That language attribute we are specifying in title tag. So here title and name of the attribute is language, and type of the attribute is, it is character type. So it will be specified, we need to specify whether it is PC data or C data. So in DTD, there is no specific data type for specifying the content type. Like our programming languages, C, C++, and Java, here there is no specification and there is no clear data types for specifying content types like integer, floating point type, character type, and string type. So in DTD, all the attribute types will be specified either PC data or C data. So what type of content your attribute is taking, either PC data or C data, and attribute value. Attribute values will be these values. So here, in this place, if you use the attribute value as value, this indicates that the default value will be, that means here suppose if I specify EN, that indicates that for language attribute, EN is the default value. Suppose if you are not supplying any value, EN will be considered it as a default value. And here hash required. Suppose if you specify here, if you specify hash required, that indicates that compulsory the user has to supply the attribute value. Here there is no case of ignoring. And hash implied. This hash implied indicates that it's optional. The attribute value is optional. You can, if you want, you can define it. Otherwise, you can ignore it. And hash fixed. So this indicates that, suppose here if you write hash fixed TEL, that indicates that you are fixing the language type as Telugu for this attribute. Okay, so we can specify whether that attribute value is fixed, or it is compulsory attribute, or it is optional attribute, or any default values also we can set it. So this is the way to write the attributes in DTDs. Now see the categories of DTDs. Just now I told you there are two categories of DTDs, internal DTD and external DTD. So internal DTD means if you can specify those DTD rules inside the XML document, then that is called it as internal DTD. Let us see how to write the internal DTD. So if you write the DTD specification inside the XML document itself, then we need to save that file with .xml only. Okay, always, why? Because always XML document is saved with .xml extension, right? Now see, always XML document starts with the XML declaration statement. Then here this is the DTD for the XML document. Just assume that this is my XML document. Okay, so in this XML document, I am specifying one employee information. So employee first name, employee last name, and employee email address. So for this employee record, I am writing the DTD here, right? Just observe, your employee is a root element or it is a complex element. It is having some child elements. So how to specify the child elements in DTD? Element tag, name of the element, and all the child elements we should specify inside the brace parenthesis. Okay, so here if you specify first name, last name, email in this order, in the same order you have to define it in the XML also. Okay, suppose here if you write first name, email, then last name, and here if you specify first name, last name, email, then definitely your parser will return the error. So how in which order you have specified in the DTD element declaration, in the same way you have to specify in the XML document also. And this is about the employee tag. Now individual tags also we need to define. Now see the definition for first name tag. Here element tag, name of the element is first name, and content. So here content type is PC data, past character data. And next second element is last name, element tag, name of the element is last name, and type of the element is PC data. And element, email element, name of the element is email, type of the element is PC data, right? So in which order you have specified all these elements in DTD, in the same order we need to write the definition in XML document. See here I am merging XML document along with DTD in a single document itself. So save this .xml, save this document with .xml extension, right? So this is the way to write the internal DTD. Now see how to write the external DTD. So how to write the external DTD? If you just separate this DTD from the XML document, then that is called it as external DTD. See that example also. So here, first I'll show the XML document. Then for that XML document, how to write the DTD, I'll explain. See, this is my XML document. As usual, XML document starts with the XML declaration statement. Just forget about this document tag now, right? Now see, here I am I am writing my employee information, first name, last name, and email. Okay, now save this file. This is completely XML document. So save this file with .xml extension. Right? Now I am writing DTD for this XML document separately from the XML file. Okay, in that case, open one more text editor, write the DTD and save that DTD with .DTD extension. Okay, if you are writing DTD separately from the XML document, you should save the DTD information using .DTD extension. Now see, Same here, we need to specify definitions for all the elements. First, I am specifying the definition for the root element, then first name, last name, and email. Right? Now DTD is ready and XML document is ready. Now how to link up this XML with DTD? So for that, we need to use doc type tag. So this doc type tag defines about the document of employee, and in this we'll use system attribute for linking your DTD to your XML document. So the system is the attribute. Compulsory this should be in capital letters. The system is used for linking the specified DTD with this XML document. So automatically whatever rules you have written here, that will complies to this XML file. So this is the way to write the XML DTD, right? So the last part of this DTD is drawbacks. So definitely everything contains advantages as well as disadvantages. If you see the advantages, it is very easy to write the DTD. So with the minimum number of tags, but there are a lot of drawbacks with these DTDs. See those drawbacks. First of all, if you see, this DTD is completely a strange language. It is not written using XML. Suppose see here in this example, so there is no relation between your XML document and the DTD document, because in XML document all the tags are user defined, but here DTD there are some predefined tags like element tag and at least tags, right? So that is the reason why we are saying that XML DTD is not written using XML syntax. It's a completely a strange language. So that is also one of the drawback. Another drawback is here there is no support for namespaces. So there is no concept of reusing some of the elements in other files. And next one is here it is impossible to provide the constraints on the elements. Okay, so here we can specify that this particular element can appear one time or more times or 0 time, like that by using qualifiers. But exactly how many number of times this element should repeat, that we cannot specify it by using DTD. Okay, and sometimes we can also we cannot apply the constraints on XML DTDs. Okay, that is also one of the drawback. And one more important drawback is here data typing is not possible. There is no built-in data types. What kind of data it is, it may be a number type or it may be a character type or what kind of data it is, we will specify whether it is a either PC data or C data. But we are not specifically saying that whether this element is accepting string type and this element is accepting character type and this element is accepting number type. Like that we don't have any specification. There is no built-in data types like integer, string, character, boolean, like that. So that is also one of the drawback. So with that, we can't correctly specify the data types. So that is also one of the drawback. And there is a minimal support for code modularity. There is no concept of inheritance, inheriting any of the features from the base classes. And here, if your document is very small, then it will be very easy to understand. Suppose if your document, XML document is having a lot of elements, then definitely it will be very hard to write the DTDs and it will be very hard to maintain the DTDs. So these are the few limitations of XML DTDs. To overcome these DTDs, then the XML people, that is W3C people, are recommended and they have designed one more representation for specifying the structure of the XML document by using XML schemas. So in next session, we will discuss about XML schemas. But XML schemas are the alternative to these DTDs. Whatever drawbacks we have seen in the DTDs, all those drawbacks were overcome in the XML schema. So this is about this session. So thank you, Anand.